Hello, everybody. How are you doing tonight? Yes, I'm back already. And as you see here, I have my t-shirts up. I actually got two in today, and I took some pictures, but I'm going to put them on Instagram. But I'm going to have some folks model some stuff. Plus, I'm waiting for the cup. One of my cups is coming in, so very excited. Please go over to epiphany.creator-spring.com so you can see the other cybersecurity related, cyber defense really, okay, related t-shirts and other homeware that you can order and, you know, represent, okay? All right, so let's see here. So something so interesting has been happening. Okay, let me take this thing down so it doesn't distract me. Where is it? Is it over here? Yeah. All right. So I have been having issues, but not really issues. What kind of issues? Okay. So I have two cars. All right. One of them I got, one of them is for me. Okay. That I just drive, well, they're both for me, but one is for me to drive. The other one I got back in 2018 because I was doing hire car, right? So I was renting it out so that other people can drive it for Uber and Lyft and all that. Where hire car has the worst insurance in the world. You understand? I was coming, so people were driving the car and, getting in accidents, a bump, hit somebody's bumper here, the door was hit. One girl called me like 3 o'clock in the morning. She was in DC. Somebody hit the door. I mean, it was just nuts. Okay. Every single time I came out the pocket because their hire cars insurance was trash. Okay. So I was like, look, I'm not gonna be able to do this. So now I have two cars. All right. Well, with Corona, ain't nobody been going nowhere. I've been working from home for over a year now. Okay. So, and I never really drove anyway because I don't drive into DC. I don't do that. Okay. I either take the bus, I slug, or I take the train. Okay. I do not drive into DC. So the furthest I would go every day would be to the, that thing, the parking thing. So I can, get in the slug line. If y'all don't know what slugging is, it's like legal hitchhiking, okay, into work. Okay. So we would do that, right? And hold on, let me get back to where I was. So okay. Um so I haven't been driving. So and when I do drive, I take my car. Okay. I don't take the other one, okay, which had been used for. So it's just been sitting there. Well, I would drive it every now and then. Anyway, like a week ago, 2 weeks ago, something, the light just came on, like the headlights and stuff. For no, like it wasn't even started. I looked out the window at night. I'm like, what's my lights doing on? I thought there's a cat under the car, so I don't know. So I went out there and I started it. It started just fine. And I took the keys out the ignition and went in the house and it was good. So 2 days later, I was going to drive it to wherever I was going, to the grocery store or something. Nothing. I put the key in and I had to open it like with the key. Like I have to, like stick the key in the door and like twist the key. I'm like, who does that with cars anymore? All right. But I had to do that because even clicking the thing, the car would not start. I mean, it wouldn't, the locks wouldn't come up. So I'm in the car, I'm turning it, I don't hear anything. Like there's no clicking, nothing. Okay. So I'm like, oh my goodness. So here we go. Now I called my sister. Okay. And she came over oh, you know what was going to happen? This is why I was going, because I was going to have Hyundai come and pick it up. I love how they have that. They will come and pick up your car, service it, and bring it back. I love that. Okay. So they were going to come do that. So I told them, I said, hey, it's not starting, so somebody's going to have to jump it or something. And they were like, no, we can't do that. We can tow it, though. I'm like, I ain't paying for no tow. You good. Okay, I'm fine. So I had my sister come over and, she jumped in it. So it took like 15 minutes, for the battery. So I contacted my brother-in-law, who is a master mechanic. He's like the best mechanic, okay, in the United States of America. Okay, so and I asked him, I said, Brother Dennis, something's wrong with my car, like the lights come, like what's wrong with it? Okay, this is what's like he lives in Oklahoma. Okay, so I sent him this message over Facebook. All right, and he said, you know, so I called him today. So I sent him the message like 2 days ago. So I called him today and I told him what was wrong. And I'm telling you, every time I talk to this man about anything having to do with a car, like I want to be a mechanic, you know. So it was no longer about me wanting to fix the car or find out what's wrong with the car. I mean, I do want to do that, but the way he explains stuff is so interesting. I can't take it. Okay. So let me tell you. Okay, so first of all, I was telling him, I said, yeah, so the outside lights came on, and let me see. I wrote down what he told me. Where did I put it? Just so I can make sure I remember everything, because it was so interesting. Oh Lord, I don't know where I put that thing. Well, first off, he said, well, the lights come on, the lights stay on after you turn off the car, to help you, when you're walking to your door or something, it's nighttime, you put your key in the door, then the lights will stay on to help you do that. I never realized that. I just thought, I don't know what I thought, but I never realized that. All right. So that was number one. And then he said, the worst thing you can do for your car is to not start it. Okay. Because the battery will begin to eat itself. Okay. You know how anorexics, people who suffer from anorexia, that's what the body does. The body starts to eat itself because it needs fuel. Okay. The battery will start to eat itself. Okay. Because it needs to be charged. It needs voltage. Okay. That was super interesting. Okay. And then he went on to tell me about how, he said, it's called parasitic draw. When you have things that are just drawing from your battery without it being charged, often, like if you keep the phone, how you charge your phone, you put the phone charger in there, that draws. He said the automatic lights, that draws. Even though he said the computer is on all the time. It sleeps, of course, when the car is not running, but it's on all the time. And it's very important to keep the battery charge going. All right. So he's telling me all this stuff, and also telling me, to take it to the place and have them do this and look at all these various things. But it was just so interesting, like the stories he was telling, and the way he was describing what was going on, and then adding like that extra information in there. It just made it, like I said, it was more than about me getting my car fixed. When we got off the phone, okay, first I thanked him profusely, okay? And then I told him, every time I talk to you about a car, I want to be a mechanic, or I feel like I need to know more because it sounds so interesting, the stuff that you do. And it does. He just makes it so interesting. And it was like, I don't know if I talked about it on this channel, but when I went to that 1-month course in that leadership course, we had a guy come in and talk about the Constitution. Everybody wanted to go have like, dude, can we sit down with you for another 2 hours, okay, over some coffee or pizza or dinner or something, so we can hear more about the Constitution. It was that interesting, okay? So how many of you, okay, all right, have gone to a training, anything having to do with cybersecurity, and you just wanted to, the training was over, you were like, that's it? Like, can we go sit down for another 2 hours and talk about subnetting? I mean, this is the most amazing. Can we go over the OSI again? Where can I go? How do I continue this conversation? Because you're interested. Not because you're trying to pass a test, not because you have to do it to get the job, because it's interesting. It's all in how you present that information. That's what I say on this channel so much, like so many times. All right. So let me tell you, and y'all know I love to use metaphor. So I have that. I have I don't know, 2 or 3 videos on here where I say, so that's what a bit is. I have one for that. So that's what an IP address is. And if you listen to those videos, I use metaphor, stuff that everybody is already familiar with. So it's like, oh, that's what it's like. It's like that. So you don't have to do a lot of work to understand. It makes sense. Cyber makes sense. Okay. When you do it like that, when you help me build my own bridge from what I already know to what you're talking about, because that's what it is. Everything we talk about in IT and cyber, and there's nothing that's come from Mars or Jupiter that nobody has any idea, never heard of it, never experienced, nothing. We present it that way, just like a lot of professionals do. You go into another profession and it sounds like they're speaking a foreign language, even though they're speaking English. It doesn't have to be that way. All of this stuff is familiar. Ain't nothing new under the sun. So let me show you. So I have the bit metaphor, which is really good. You ain't gonna hear that anywhere else, I promise, okay? Then we have the IP metaphor. Did I do another one? What else did I do for that? I forget what the other one was, if I did another one. But I gotta hurry up and do this because I have to work out before I go to bed. I'd start a 30-day challenge. I put it on my Instagram. 30-day challenge. To sexify my life. You understand? All right, where are these things at? So I'm going to go over a couple metaphors that you all can add to, use, discard, whatever the hell you want to do. I don't care. I am sharing perspective and experience. We already covered the bit and the IP address. So these are a few more, and I'm going to put them up on the screen as I talk about them. Application programming interface. I just did like 15 minutes ago a video about this on my Everyone Deserves an Epiphany, my learning channel. So if you're interested in APIs, you can go over there. But an API is like the connections between your TV and your Xbox or DVD or whatever you have connected to your TV. All right, your VR machine or something. Where one talks to the other, one thing talks to the other without you having to do anything, and they just understand each other. So you plug it in, plug in the Xbox, everything is working the way it needs to work. Okay, so API is code that does that. All right. Hypertext Transfer Protocol, HTTP. HTTP is like the bat signal. When you need Batman, you put the bat signal in the sky. Batman gonna see it, but anybody else looking up in the sky gonna see it too. Okay? So keep that in mind. That's HTTP, like HTTP. HTTPS, instead of sending the bat signal, okay, you're whispering in somebody's ear. Now, it's still possible, depending on what kind of machinery is around, whatever, that somebody can hear what you're whispering in that person's ear, but it's not as likely as sending up a bat signal, that all of these people, are just going to be able to see whatever the hell you put out there. They don't need no equipment at all. All they got to do is look, okay? And it's there. All right, so HTTPS is a lot more secure than HTTP and bat signals, okay? Two-factor authentication. Think of Cinderella for two-factor authentication. Remember how Cinderella went to the ball, 12 o'clock, old girl was like, listen, you got to get up out of here, okay? Because everything will go back to the way it was at midnight. So she had to run and all that, and she forgot her shoe. She was going down the steps, and she forgot her shoe. The prince went around looking. Her sisters lied. And was like, oh, I'm her. Yes, that's my... So he said, okay, try on the shoe. Shoe didn't fit until he got to the actual person who it belonged to, Cinderella. The prince used two-factor authentication to identify Cinderella. All right. Yeah, you say you Cinderella, but try on this shoe. Now, let me tell you something. The original story of Cinderella, if y'all didn't know, and the original story, I had this book that had all the original fairy tales. Did the Disney fairy tales in there? That's watered down, sugar coated, and all kind of stuff. Okay, original fairy tales are some of the scariest things. It's like reading a damn horror book. Okay, on the original Cinderella, what the sisters did, their feet were too big for that slipper. They cut off the front of their feet to fit into the shoe. And the prince noticed that there was blood dripping from the shoe. Okay. And that's how he caught that was not their actual shoe. I'm telling you, original fairy tales are gory as F. You ain't gonna be able to go to sleep, child, after you read some of these. They're scary. They really, really are. Find those original fairy tales. They're very scary. A browser. So a browser is like your TV where, Kingdom, the next season of, not season, there's I don't know if y'all seen Kingdom on Netflix about the zombies. Ooh, that is so good. It's really good. So they had season 1, okay? So now they have, it's not season 2, it's like the continuation. I don't know, it's weird. It's like a movie or something, but it like tells you the backstory of where all them zombies came from, all right? So when I'm looking at that on my TV screen, it's like my browser, okay? Where it's not right here, it's being broadcast from somewhere else and it's showing up on my TV screen so I can see it, okay? And absolutely love it and enjoy it and wait for the next one to come out, okay? Because that was really weird the way they did that, all right? So the content of the stuff is broadcast from somewhere else and it shows up on my TV screen for me to enjoy. And the last one, a bug. Okay, a bug. Think of like the Leaning Tower of Pisa. If you know with the Leaning Tower of Pisa, right? That's like a bug because I mean, when they first built it, it was beautiful. It was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Either realizing or not realizing, okay, that the way this thing is built on the foundation that is built on, in a minute, this thing gonna start, now every bug you find does not turn out to be, like a wonder of the world or something like the Leaning Tower of Pisa is, but like over time, this thing can happen, right? Everything isn't like just right there. Oh, vulnerability right there. No, it looks fine now, everything is good, but over time, that foundation and all that stuff. And if the planning, would have gone a little bit better, that could have possibly been prevented, but then we wouldn't have a Leaning Tower of Pisa, all right, so those are all the ones I'm going to go over. And the reason why I'm doing that again is because the way that I talked about how my brother-in-law was explaining the problem with my car, that explanation compelled me to want to find out more about cars, like in mechanics. And like it went from me needing my car fixed, I just need to get this done, to, man, that is so interesting. Like, I really just want to learn more about that. It may not have anything to do with what the hell is wrong with my car, but it's just so interesting, the way you presented that information. All right. When we do stuff like that, whether it's in a classroom or at work, okay, even at work, that really does make life a lot easier. It really does. It makes it a lot easier. So I'm just saying. Okay, so that's all I have for y'all tonight. A few metaphor for y'all to go back and look at. And and it doesn't have to be those. That's just the way I'm seeing some stuff, the way I saw the IP address and the bits and all that, based on my own experience and what I see and understand. So it can absolutely 100% be different, for you. You may not see HTTP as a bat signal, as the same as a bat signal or the bat signal, okay? I mean, you may have a different metaphor for that demonstrates how HTTP works. And when it comes to being able to explain this to other people, you know, in a really like simple way where they ain't got to work, you know, and please, for the love of God, for the love of God, can we stop saying just go Google it? I mean, everybody know about Google. Okay, everybody knows that. Everything ain't Googleable. All right, is Googleable a word? Everything is not Googleable. Okay, some people may need a different kind of, you know, something. Do we know something other than what Google says? I mean, come on. Seriously, like we can call on our own experience to come up with some stuff. It's not hard. It's not difficult at all. It's really not. Okay. Ooh, I can't stand that. I sound real judgy, don't I? I'm not though. I don't care what the hell y'all do. I really don't. All right. But I'm just saying. Okay. All right. So that's all I have. I gotta go do some exercise before I go to bed. So y'all have a good night. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, please do so. Okay. If you want to be in the know. All right, because you're gonna have to be over here to be in the know. I'll see y'all next time. Bye.